Good evening everyone and welcome along to EML Premier 1. We are here tonight for season number 4. It is round 5 of the championship as we take in the Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring. My name is James Hare, going to be taking to the stream of course as always on this fine Wednesday evening. Hope you're all doing well. Joining me in the commentary box as always it is Mr. Alex the G. Alex, how you doing?
Good evening everyone from me as well, and round 5 we are approaching the halfway mark of the season. And what a season has been so far. I'm really feeling great about this Austrian Grand Prix. And after last week, maybe it hasn't been the most exciting of races. I feel like Austria is going to get us right back on track and send us in a good season break. So, really excited for this.
It definitely will, I think it's going to be a fantastic race, of course, here in Austria. If it's anything to go by, of course, in TML F1, we should see some really good action out on track, and hopefully that will be concourse during the night with these drivers out on track, who, of course, are going to deliver as a result of the racing out on track for round number 5, of course, and the week before the break week, I believe, as well. So this is the final race before the break week happens. Team Chazoo lead the championship, however, on 135 points. FVR in second on 78, VIR in third on 70, NLR in fourth on 61, then ET8 in fifth on 59. They've got a changed lineup tonight. Trust Esports in sixth on 52, GSP in seventh, GSP in seventh on 46. That was shouting on the football while my throat is a little bit worse for wear already. FRL in 8th on 45. Outplayed Racing in 9th on 42. They're the reserve team, of course, and TTG, who are filling the team this week, are in 10th on 28 points. And I have just read out the wrong standings.
I was going to say, I've got the current standings up, so if you want me to cover them, I can go over them for you.
I've got them. I was just going to click on the wrong one. Shazoo lead on 173 points. Goodness me. FER in second on 118. VIR third on 96. Trust Esports fourth on 86. Then NLR in fifth on 85. EC8 sixth on 78. FRL in seventh on 59. GSP in eighth on 58. Outplayed in 9th on 42. And TTG in 10th on 18 points. Got there in the end with the right standings. Team Shazoo, though, leading out on top. Of course, they've got a changed lineup this week as well. Tom comes in for the first time this season alongside Rick, so they will hope to try and consolidate that P1 out on track. FER, though, they gained points on them last week, 118 points to their name, and they will be hoping for a very strong week, especially because they've got a very strong team lineup in Stefano and Jeroen.
Indeed, they are returning from last week, and certainly a really strong performance. We do remember, of course, that late overtaking attempt from Stefano there on his former teammate Aurelien, and a really, really good end to what was otherwise maybe not the most incredible Spanish Grand Prix. But even still, yeah, some points made up at the top. It may not seem like much at the moment. It is still a 55-point gap to overcome for the FVR team. But still, it looks like Shazoo might not have a very easy time now. And yeah, closely before this season break, there's certainly still very much a big contest going on between all these teams, and certainly some teams from behind trying to make up ground as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Aurelien, by the way, in terms of his hopes for PSGL F2 title, in the end, came short. Unfortunately, from his perspective, it was Volakongan, formerly of TML, of course, TNR member, of course, as well. He took the win in the PSGL F2 race, so if you were wondering what happened about PSGL F2, that was it. Volakongan took the title by 1 point and 1/10 of a second, which is very close indeed. And, of course, it brings about a real change-up in the driver's standings as well, with Louis leading the way on 50, Jeroen in second on 42, Zenux third on 40, Stefano fourth on 37, Radadal fifth on 36, Rowan sixth on 31, Aurelien and Jensen tied for seventh along with Keki on 30 points, and Molon there in 10th on 26 points in terms of the top 10, in terms of the driver's standings so far out on track as well. We, of course, come to the Red Bull Ring, which is, and I'm going to show you when I find the correct settings. We are just waiting for drivers, by the way, to join the lobby. There it is, right there. The Red Bull Ring, 105.6 is the lap record around here. 4.3 kilometres an hour, 2.6 mile, 10 turns away to now, drivers out on track. Track difficulty classed as very easy. However, Alex, it is far from it.
Yeah, from own experience, particularly because it is such a short track, every single corner matters around this circuit, and definitely, well, every track poses a big challenge, but this one I feel like in particular, and the game has got that properly wrong in my opinion, and it's, yeah, those few corners really make a big, big difference for all this lap time, and I think this might come as a bit of extra pressure perhaps for the drivers, as they have to try and get those laps in and get them as right as they possibly can, but it's such a short lap and everything matters on this track. So yeah, really, really big challenge for the drivers. And the weather can always throw a spanner in the works around here as well. So certainly there's really everything or anything you can really look out for in this Austrian Grand Prix, as both qualifying and the race, of course, can be hit by weather, can be hit by difficult track limits as well, and those can definitely spice things up today as well. This Austrian Grand Prix is certainly never a race which is any short of action.
Yeah, definitely so as well. Driver lineup, by the way, I was trying to seek where the driver lineup actually was. It looks like we might be missing the Relentless team again. Not sure what they're getting up to. They both did field the team, however. It was
Yep.
Nolan and Izzat, I think, were due to be driving in terms of the driver lineup. I'm looking at, yeah, Felipe and Izzat, or Nolan and Izzat, to you and me. Molyneux and Skyline representing VIO, of course, the PSGL F7 beaten by my co-commentator during the week as well, which I'm just going to throw that in there. He will get a dig in, I'm absolutely sure, a little bit later on. Molyneux and Skyline representing VIR. Zabo and Chris G representing GSP, however, I think Play Tender was in, if I'm not mistaken, in the Mercedes. Genu and Bertil, I think Genu had Wi-Fi issues just before we came live, so Radadal is filling in for him. Predator and Oliver in for TTG. Felipe and Ezra due to be in for Relentless, however, they're not here, so they are going to be deducted points, I'm absolutely sure. Stefano and Jeroen representing FVR. Tom and Rick in for Shazoo. Name Changer and Urpek, Name Changer, former F1 Esports Challengers man. Gets sick of me saying that, but he is a former F1 Esports Challengers man, alongside Opek, who calls formerly of ET8, Silo and Kyle Scarrett in for Referral, and then Xenox and Rastaz, and I think Yossi has actually replaced Rastaz, if I'm not mistaken, as their reserve driver as well. The other one, of course, would have been Felipe replacing, I think it was... I can't think of it at the top of my head. It was a Relentless driver nonetheless. However, though, we're going to get going in towards qualifying, and look at that for qualifying. It's beautiful blue sky and sunshine. Exactly what we want from a very cold, wet night here in the northeast of England, with Sunderland playing against Fulham.
Yes, that one had to be thrown in as well, of course. Some very important business going on in the background. Marlon has left the session already.
Ooh.
That is not very good. Hopefully that's not a PS4 thing, because I have had that happen myself enough times. And, well, that's certainly not ideal, but I can always supply these drivers with extra invites. And now let's have a look. We do have a lot of reserve drivers, in fact, in for this race, as you already mentioned. A lot of teams fielding their reserves. But yeah, no Relentless team means, again, just the 18 drivers on the grid today, which is... well, not great, but on this very short track, at least it might reduce some of the traffic issues. I believe the first driver out on the track looks to be an AlphaTauri, and that is the championship leading team of Shazoo. Let's have a look quickly who that is. That looks to be Shazoo Tom. Yes, first on the racetrack and heading down into turns 2 and 3 at this beautiful Red Bull ring.
Sorry, my headset keeps dropping off the hanger that it's on at the minute. I've just knocked it off with my foot by mistake and it just fell off again. Hopefully everything is fine though. Tom is the first man out on track. And Tom had wretched luck around here the last time he came here in Austria. That was last week, of course, in TML F1. And it's a race that he will probably want to forget. He was on lap 8. In, I think, second position, underneath the safety car, in full wet conditions, ended up catching a puddle, ended up crashing out of the race, which was so unfortunate because Tom looked all over the field, I've got to be honest, in that TML F1 race. So if that's anything to go by, Tom, of course, is going to be up there, I'm absolutely sure, coming towards the end of this session, and he is the man, I think, to watch out for pole position as well around here. 105.1, I think, was the benchmark, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, in qualifying in TML F1. So let's see if Tom can beat that on the run toward the line, now up the hill, in toward the right-hander of turn number 1, of course, nicknamed after the Lauder curve, catches the inside curve at turn number 1, just about valid there, Tom, coming out, but he's already backed off. You can tell by the gears running up the hill in towards turns 2 and 3. He has backed off. It's 16-9 in the first sector, which is still quite respectful. It is about a second off what we should be expecting, though, in the first sector, and Tom, I think, has now backed off his lap there in the AlphaTauri. I think the second man that is on lap could be Xenox, potentially, running up the hill. He is certainly up there. There's an Aston Martin into the wall, I think, on the left-hand side. I think that might have been Oliver just getting out of the way, but Xenox now on the run down in towards turn number 3. He has had his fair share of bad luck recently as well, and lots of contact with drivers as well. So Xenox is the man possibly to watch out for in terms of any instance that might happen. Yossi as well hasn't really treated himself with any jurisdiction, certainly out on track. Hopefully TOS have learned their lesson though from Imola. Xenox now through the middle sector, 45-1 in the middle sector, not looking too bad at all. Already though, about 2 or 3 tenths off what we should be expecting even in this early stage of qualifying. Xenox now comes in toward the right-hander. Tom now goes quickest with the 111 flat, 111.7. Aston Martin getting away through the final corner. Xenox is invalid through the final corner. I think that was Predator just starting up on a lap. Oliver was the one that backed off as now Carl Scarrett goes to the top. So Carl Scarrett out on top. Tom there in second. I did say a 105.1. I think what I meant to say was a 104.1, I think it was. Or 103.1. I don't know. Carl Scarrett out on top. Patil in second. Scarline in third.
Yeah, we might be looking at low 1-minute 4s, perhaps even high 1-minute 3s in this session, as we've got Kyle Scarrett currently top with a 4.5, as you said. Name changer, just 2 100s behind there with a 104.6. In second for NLR, Bertil in third with a 4.7, Skylar then with a 4.9. But yeah, certainly still a lot of laps to come in there. We've got, in fact, a Ferrari, I believe that is in the gravel. Yes, it is. Yep. It is Giron, who must have had a bit of a mistake in there and is now just waiting for all the drivers behind to let them go again. And now some drivers crossing the line. I believe Shazoo Rick will be next. It goes fastest by a margin. 4.3 is a banker. That is really strong. Oh. And wow, Shazoo Tom right behind as well. Good stuff. That is some really, really impressive banker times down there.
Yeah, it was Tom that actually set the lap first. No, Rick was a 104.3 from Tom. Rick now came in behind, 104.275, and is a 10th clear of Tom at this early stage in qualifying. Carl Scarrett there in third, name changer there in fourth. Fulham, by the way, have had a chance against Sunderland. I have got the match watching on the right-hand side. Marlon, however, I'm above with him now, coming up the hill in towards turn number 8, and he was purple in the middle sector, according to my screen, as he now comes through the right-hand of turn number 9, has a huge lap of oversteer, just about recovered that. He's going to miss the pit lane as well. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if he does reverse into the pit lane, and in fact, he's got beached. He got beached on the inside curb. Now rotates round. Very dangerous for Marlon. There was a car oncoming, but, I mean, could he have really done anything about that apart from resetting to track? Certainly going the wrong way is... I think he should have just went round for another lap and then he wouldn't have got a penalty. But then he got beached on the curb and he had to reset to track. And then I think instinct normally is get back into pit lane as soon as possible, especially if you're near the pit lane.
Yeah, that usually is what drivers might be thinking about, but realistically, Austria is such a short circuit. The shortest lap time on the calendar, might as well have just done the full lap around. I mean, maybe he didn't have enough fuel for that, but yeah, still not the best move from Marlon. But yeah, we kind of have to look past that now and just focus on this quali sessions. I believe Erpek, one of the next to cross the line now, currently in that middle sector. We've got Ferrari, I believe, coming as well in that last turn. Stefano up to 10th with a 9.9. That is not representative. Erpek, though, 44.8 middle split. That looks pretty good from the NLR driver. His teammate currently 5th, who is now on an outlap as well. Just see name changer there on that second straight. But Erpek now through the final corner, and that is not invalidated. So it looks pretty good for Erpek, and he slots into P4. So the current second row there with his banker lap time. Solid position so far for the NLR team. But can anything match those two Shazoo times there at the top? At 4.2, 4.3 at the top. Rick and Tom really strong, as recently, in fact, Rick must have got rid of that A in his name. Shazoo Academy Rick is no more. It is Shazoo Rick now. And yeah, he's putting that name really high up the standings.
Stefano, by the way, 44.7 in the middle sector. Huge middle sector from Stefano. He's on a 109.9 at the minute, but he will set a better lap time as long as he stays clean through the final two corners. And the former PSGL F2 Championship leader, of course, promoted to PSGL F1, comes to the line, and he goes second ahead of Tom. Big lap in there from Stefano. Rick though out on top, Stefano there in second, Tom in third. And the thing that everyone has in common in the top three, they all used to be part of the same team or are in the current same team, because Steph, of course, used to be part of Shazoo. But Steph there in second, Tom there in third. That will be quite interesting. Tom, I think, will hold a distinct advantage, though, towards the end of qualifying. 104.1, I think it was, as to say, in the Austria qualifying session in TML F1. So he's definitely one to watch out for. And he's preparing up for a lap now, coming down in towards turn number 9 at the Rint curve, as he's getting out of the way of the Haas and the Mercedes. Just about getting out of the way of the Mercedes. Rick though out on top, Stefano second, Tom there in third, and currently Rick on an outlap at this stage as Xenox goes 6th.
Yes, indeed. It looked a pretty solid lap from Xenox, but nothing really too special. In the middle sector, 44.8. It is a good split time, but it's just slightly down there. Shazoo Tom again, slight rear end loss, I would say, maybe out of turn 1. Still looking pretty solid, though. I believe the other AlphaTauri is also starting lap. Yes, that is indeed Shazoo Rick in the 16.007. Very strong first split, maybe slightly missing the apex there of turn 3, the Remus-Kurve. But still, the exit is the most important thing around here. But now he has his eyes here on the braking point, going on the AstroTurf, slightly past the 100-meter board. He heads on the brakes on the Astro on the turn exit as well, as Marlon goes 4th with a 104.3. But now Shazoo Tom here, the two left-handers, basically the only two left-handers on this track, 44.5. That is an insane middle sector. Oh, he's lost it. That would have been a massive lap there from Shazoo Tom. Such a shame he lost that there. That was a massive lap indeed from the Englishman.
That was a huge lap from Tom incoming, but in the end, turns 7 and 8, that chicane cost him in TML qualifying in last week, and now cost him once again. You've seen something, I think, in the middle sector. Rick is invalidated through the middle. Yossi's gone third. Marlon in the first, through the second sector as well. Not actually going on a lap, but somebody I think is on a lap, and it might be Rowan through the middle sector who might be catching your eye, because that's purple in the middle sector.
Oh, indeed, Jeroen going very quick there. It was Playtendo, in fact, just really lost the car in a big way there in the final corner and could not finish his lap as a result. But now Jeroen, last corner, it looks pretty good. Really wide there, using the most of the track, and that looks really good for Jeroen, and he goes up to 4th, and this just shows how close the gaps are. 104.335. That is 6/100ths off, and he finds himself in 4th. In fact, under a 10th covering the top 6. This is mighty close, and I can't wait for the end of this session.
Yeah, 900ths of a second covering the top 6 at this stage, and all the rest of the field, all the way down to 15th, are covered by 0.5 of a second. Kyle Scarrett was on a good lap. He's just invalidated, though, through the middle sector. Good evening, by the way, to everyone that is tuning in. I totally forgot that you guys were actually watching us, but good evening to everyone that is tuning in. Rick on top, Stefano second, Yossi there in third. Rodadal, I believe, has just started up on a lap, and gets a bit of slipstream, actually, from Bertil, who's on an outlap. Very good and well thought of there by the ET8 team. I think they should have done it down the hill, though, and especially because he just had a moment coming out of turn number 3, and that is him done on that lap. I can absolutely guarantee that he will not, I don't think he'll improve on this lap, and yeah, he backs off. Don't blame him at all, but I think better off running the slipstream down the hill rather than up the hill, because you lose speed coming out of turn number 3.
Yeah, realistically, the slipstream on both areas really is so hard to time, but I think overall it can gain more to go out of turn 3. So let's see now. I think Name Changer is one of the first on the lap right now. 16.051 in the first sector. So that's definitely not among the faster ones we've seen so far. But certainly still up there. It could also be setup related, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. Now again, past that 100-meter board, fully on the AstroTurf. That's the kind of way you have to brake, though. He does avoid it on the outside, on the exit of the corner. There's definitely varying approaches there. Now, a bit wide there through turn 6, so it's not looking like the most hooked up lap. Still at 44.8, so definitely a solid lap. So I've just seen Ryder and Silo with the exact same lap there in 7th and 8th, currently sharing that 4th row. Now in towards these last 2 corners. Let's see what Name Changer can muster up here. Currently only 3.5 off, and that puts him in 12th. Bit wide maybe, but now in this last corner exit up to P7. This is so close, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a better lap, definitely. Yossi is just starting up on a run, Rick's starting up on a run. Tom, however, is furthest on a run. He's coming through the first sector split, and we'll see what his first sector is. 15.9 in the first sector, 300s up already from the Shazoo man. Of course, as I say, he took qualifying in TML F1. What an apex indeed, coming down to turn number 3, and now on the run down in towards turn number 4. Could have picked up a bit of extra slipstream there from the Aston Martin ahead. I think that's Predator just preparing up on a lap at this stage, up down on an out lap at this stage. It's Tom loses at turn number 4. Too much outside curb, spins the car around. Tom is not liking this track at all here tonight. I don't know why the Shazoo team have fielded him. He's going the wrong way as well. He doesn't want to get beached in that gravel or on the grass. I think he's fine. And he just about rejoins circuit. And actually, there's his teammate going past. Rick coming through the middle sector. Stefano through the middle sector as well. Yossi is 600s down. Rick through the middle sector, 400s up. So Rick is improving in this middle sector. We'll run on board then with the Shazoo man. We'll turn the timing tower off on the left-hand side just to see what Rick does through these final 2 corners. Has to get as better exit as possible. Through turn number 9, he's wide. Coming out of turn number 9. Just about gets the car rotated in. Through turn number 10, Yossi goes quickest, but for how long? Rick to the line, doesn't go quickest, and it's only 5,000ths of a second in terms of his improvement. Jerona's back in the pit lane. Marlon's on a good lap. He's purple in the middle sector.
Oh, yes, indeed. It looks like he's on a very good lap here. He's only under 1.5 tenths shy, but these last 2 corners really decide everything. The super fast right-handers here. 5th gear he takes through here.
Beautiful.
Now, he doesn't use that much, but still, it's a very, very flowing exit. Marlon is, wow, by over a tenth goes fastest. That is impressive from Marlon.
And that is a statement lap if I've ever seen one here in TML. And actually, that is a quicker lap than TML F1 qualifying. Unbelievable. Marlon out on top, Yossi in second, Rick in third. If Tom has to think about a lap, he's got to put it there basically out of his comfort zone and try and improve 2/10 of a second like he did, of course, in TML qualifying last week, which you can, of course, catch tomorrow night as well. Xenox Skills 9th, not a bad lap there at all, 104.463. Marlon though out on top, Yossi there in second, Rick there currently in third.
Shazoo Tom with a 44.4 in the middle sector. That is incredible, and he's currently about 2.5 tenths shy. So right now he is on course for provisional pole, and this extra lap that he's got, turns 9, turns 10. Can he get that right properly? Oh my, that is beautiful. That could be a 103. That is so close, but pole by an extra tenth on this track. That is incredible from Shazoo Tom, and what a lap under pressure. That is amazing.
And that is how you respond back to your fellow PSGL F1 man. Tom out on top for Marlon there in second. Yossi now in third. Xenox, as I was saying, did improve a tenth of a second. Carl Scarrett now is the next one, I think, to prevail up on an out lap. He's not going to be on a lap just yet. But Tom out on top, Marlon there in second, Yossi there in third. It's going to be an interesting qualifying session. It's a very close qualifying session. Top 18 currently covered by a second. Hopefully, more than covered by a second is Sunderland across the match against Fulham. Still 1-0 Fulham, sadly. But Tom out on top, Marlon in second, Yossi there in third. I don't know why I'm actually updating people on the football. I'm the only one that supports Sunderland, I think, in the chat.
I think others have done it before. I think we're good on that one. Not a fanboy, just passionate. We all know it. It's okay.
A passionate northerner. A passionate northerner. That's what I call myself.
Oh, okay. We've got Carl Scarrett actually on the lap already. I'm surprised. It's very early. Wow.
Yeah, coming out the final corner, he's against the complete sync of everyone else on a lap at this stage. But Carl Scarrett now coming to the right-hander turn number 1 at Rind Curve, or Louder Curve, I should say, up the hill in towards turn number 2, and then through turn number 3 at the top of the hill at Remus, which is probably absolute butchering of the German pronunciation of that. Carl Scarrett now down in towards turn number 4, my favourite ever named corner. Down in towards turn number 4, Schlossgoal down in towards turn number 4 as we ride on board then with the Alfa Romeo in toward the right-hander. Not looking too bad on the exit. Now through the right-hander at turn number 5, then through the Pirelli curve at turn number 6 before we embark on turn 7 and 8. And it's not looking too bad from Carl Scarrett. 44.8 in the middle sectors there or thereabouts from what we've seen so far from the likes of Name Changer, Scarline. Very on the limits there coming out of turn 7 and 8. Now in towards the right-hander of turn number 9 at Rinse Curve. And then through the right-hander of turn number 10 at the Red Bull Mobile Curve. Yes, that is the full given name of any Invalidate. through the final corner.
So
that is a very
close.
difficult corner to get right, and Kyle Scarrett, yeah, goes 14th in the end. And is this a next lap invalidated? Rodadell's just set up on a lap. He's 3.5 tenths down. Name changer, however, I think is furthest on, and he was looking good. But again, he's wide coming out of turn number 6.
Oh, 44.8. He's not improving right now. Currently,
Oh,
he is
he
at 8, but he
spins!
spins around. That is another spin there. I believe Mercedes now next. Yeah, that's another lap gone there for the Finn. And we know how strong he can be, but just gets out the way of the Mercedes at the back. But he's just starting a lap now. So, a bit of a troubled quali session again, maybe for the NLR team, but still have Erpek, I suppose, on another lap soon. But those final runs are going to start out very shortly. In fact, some of them are already embarking on them. Stefano is one of the drivers, currently up slightly on his first sector time. Name changer retires from the session, of course. Now, no more improvements coming. What is the middle sector going to say for Stefano? A bit of a slide there. 44.6 though. He is quite a way off, and I think Shazoo Tom might just be untouchable in this quali session.
He might be. Marlon is just coming in through the line now. He's just started on his lap. So we're right on board with Marlon through the first sector as we run on board with Stefano coming to the right-hander of turn number 10. Is he going to try and improve toward the line? I think he will. He goes third. He goes ahead of Yossi and Rick. So good improvement there from him. Marlon now next up. Yossi, I think, is just behind him, actually, out on track. He's running in towards turn number 1, but Marlon, 16-1 in the first sector. What on earth has he done? Coming out of turn number 1, he's clearly not improving, I don't think, unless his middle sector and final sector are about as good as I've ever seen them. He's not going to improve.
Oh, Jerome hasn't improved either. We've got an Alfa Romeo now. Sailu goes up to 8th, but there's a lot of lap times yet to come. I believe one of the Aston Martins now in the middle sector. But certainly other quick drivers. Marlon is one of the first. Skyline as well. His teammate
Rick.
just heading through that split, but he's down.
Rick 44.7 in the middle sector, 300th down coming out the middle sector. He's actually one of the furthest on the lap, but coming through the right-hander of turn number 9, and he invalidates out of turn number 9. That was far too wide from the AlphaTauri. Marlon even wider, and that's an invalidation as well. His teammates also spun coming through the turn number 9 as well. A Skyline on the left-hand side of the track. Tom also invalidated. Yossi 4.5 tenths down. He's not improving. Jeroen is down. Skyline is down. There's hardly anybody improving. Ryderdale not on a lap. Playtendo's not on a lap. No, there's Predator. That's the end of qualifying. And there's Tom out on top by a good tenth of a second. Marlon in second. Stefano there in third. And in the end, Tom, you said it. He was untouchable in that qualifying session with that lap. A 104 flat. A tenth quicker than TML qualifying. That is the real Tom. And we like to see how he will go for the Shazoo team, who are currently untouchable at the top of the team standings.
Something I'd like to address as well. Tom, I believe, would have done that on his second lap on that set of tires due to his, exits, I believe, on the first, pretty much every first run he's done. So, really impressive stuff to whip out such good performance from these tires. And what was a statement lap from Marlon at the time of setting it, well, that's been destroyed almost by another tenth of a second. And, I mean, that is a great-looking front row, isn't it? 2 PSG LF1 drivers, in fact, followed by another one with Stefano there in third. So, this is a lot to look out for, and I can't wait for this. This is amazing stuff again, and I mean, in Austria, we're going to have an incredible race. I'm 100% on that.
It should be really good. I'm just hoping that there's no 5-second penalty here for Skyline. Luckily, it's just retired. There's just been retirement in the pit lane. I thought Skyline, for a second, was going to get a 5-second penalty for blocking the AI, which we have seen in qualifying. I think it did get fixed, though, that patch, in that last patch update, of course. But Tom out on top by a tenth of a second, for Marlon there in second. Stefano there in third, with Yossi in fourth, Rick there in fifth, Erpek there in sixth, Jeroen there in seventh, Skyline in eighth, Silent in ninth, Zero top 10, the name changer in 11th, Xenox in 12th, Rodadal 13th, Carl Scarrett in 14th, Bertil there in 15th, Playtendal 16th, Predator 17th, and Oliver TTG, once their former selves, really not improving on their laps down at the end, 17th and 18th. They were, of course, toward the top end of the field in the first seasons of EML Premier. Hopefully, they'll be hoping for better luck, I think, certainly in this race. But Tom out on top, Marlon alongside him, Stefano there in third. I think it's a bit of a replica of PSGL F1 around here.
Yeah, the top 3 are all PSG LF1 drivers, and I think that goes to show the quality of these drivers there up top. And well, I've already been hit with PS5 loading times. I can tell you, it is bright skies, at least for the race start. And Well, that means that on strategy, maybe there isn't going to be that much variety. I do expect probably the hard medium strategies. Just depends really on when people decide to head into the pit lane. Perhaps when the engineers would tell them what time it is and what time would be the best into that pit lane. But certainly that top three from PSGL F1 is going to look to break away from all these drivers behind them. But even still, we've seen so much competition from even what would be classed as on paper lower tier drivers, but they are absolutely not lower tier at all. And yeah, certainly we're in for a treat here at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. This is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it is going to be incredible indeed. And yeah, we wait for the 30-second timer to come on my screen and your screen, I'm absolutely sure as well.
Yep.
Same AI there on the top left-hand corner, two of the same women beside each other. I wonder if they're twins potentially on the left-hand side. Just having a look at the other AI, the squarehead AI, the squarehead AI that the F1 game, of course, does provide. Just trying to see if there is any squareheads, but I think that glitch has been fixed, which is very good. There is a very rounded, bald-headed man on the left-hand side, however. Fifth in the blue coat on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Might be a man from the FIA potentially watching on the left-hand side. And then you've got everyone in the hospitality area above, of course, the posh people. As now we come to EML Premier 1, the race start. Just thought I'd try and bring a bit of time, but 5 lights are going out here for EML Premier 1, and it is light down away we go, and Tom gets a very good start. Marlon alongside him might actually have the run up towards turn number 1, and a really good start actually from Erpek, close to the inside line of Rick. Nearly gets actually outdone by Yaronin behind, but Tom now leads the way out of turn number 1. Everyone's clean through, I think, in the background through turn number 1. Beautiful stuff as Tom leads the way up the hill for Marlon there in second. Now in towards Remus corner, turn number 3, and it's 3 wide between Rick, Erpek, and Yaron. Trying to go all the way around the outside as Yaron, trying to get them both forced off track. The Mercedes has spun there in the background. I think that was a tag potentially by Side or name change, one of the two, as Erpek is side by side still with Rick, running down the hill and towards Schlossgold, turn number 4, and there's nearly contact actually on the run down and towards turn number 4, and there is contact as the Williams are sent round. That was a bit audacious there from Erpek, and now Scarlon and Yarona going side by side. The VR man on the back of the FBO man tries to go all the way around the outside of turn number 6 at Pirelli curve, doesn't get the job done. Oliver's got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining a place ahead of his teammate, I think that might have been as well. He's now given that back up, but it's too late, the game's already given the penalty. Tom now leads the way, Moran there in second, Stefan there in third, unchanged pretty much at the top 3. Everyone on a set of hard componentised bar, Radadal, Bertil, 288 drivers, and Oliver, all on a set of mediums, then 3.
Yes, indeed. It's the strategy not looking that varying there really, but Radadal, they're already trying to make those moves, moving past F10 there for the GSP team. So he's up into the top 10. He now has to make those medium tyres bring an advantage to him. But will he be able to do that? The DRS string really powerful. Sayalou is also going for a move there on Erpek. No. Can't make it work though, but now Radadal with the switchback. Can he make this one work on the exit? Maybe now with some ERS being used for the McLaren man. Can make this work and moves to the inside of Sayalou. It looks like there isn't much of a fight there put up by Sayalou, and that is Radadal up to P9. So he's gaining some good ground as the McLaren man for the ETA team. But certainly later on it will be a bit of a disadvantage on those hard compound tyres. But the early battles coming in, it certainly is a little bit of a taste of what we might be able to get here at this Austrian Grand Prix. The top 3 remain unchanged at the moment. Tom still leads from Marlon and Stefano, but a lot of top drivers are following in their tracks. Yossi, Rick, Jeroen behind them. Skyline making up some places. Going really wide though. There is the new F7 champion again through the last corner. So I think he'll be hoping to avoid some penalties this way, but yeah, this is certainly not the best way to go about the track limits here.
Yeah, definitely so. Purple fast lap blow by Tom. 6 seconds clear of Marlon running up the hill in towards turn number 3 at Remus. Of course, DRS is actually not online until they come down the hill in the second DRS detection point, which is this one, down in toward the right-hand of turn number 4 at Schlossgold. And Tom leads the way. Marlon there in second. In fact, actually, the same DRS detection zone is shared, so they actually don't have the DRS on this lap until they get to the start-finish line at turn number 4. But Radadal might not need that. He's on the outside line of Erpek, trying to go all the way around the outside on the mediums. He's hung out to dry, and I think he's gone too deep into the corner, and yeah, he pays for his own mistake. That actually does Rodadal. Urpek there in 8th, Rodadal there down in 9th position, but still stays in that 9th position. Tom has made a slight mistake there, sliding through the middle sector. Molan's now 3/10 away, and Molan 84% of ERS. Tom 98. I think that's why he maybe have used up a bit of time to just try and gain on the back of Tom. These front two begin to pull away. Stefano is sticking with them, but Tom at this early stage trying to control the race from the front. Molan there in 2nd, Stefano there in 3rd, and the sister teams of the Shazoo team and the VIR team is Yossi sets the fastest lap of the race on a set of hards. Molan might look in towards turn number 3 for a potential move. However, if it's anything to go by, we should see moves later on in this first stint of the race as opposed to a little bit earlier, as Rodadal actually just doesn't back up my point whatsoever. He gets past Urpek, and Stefano's been spun, I think, by Yossi.
Yep, that, I think it was. Yes, it was. It must have been Yossi there on the back of that Ferrari. You got a bit, very close there with Urpek just coming through as well. You got a bit too close for comfort. Yossi now pulls past Rick as well. Bit of a battle there going on for 3rd.
Oh no!
As Yossi, there's a bit of contact going on. Oh, but Rick is just through at the moment. Yossi's still on the inside though. This is going to be tight into turn 6 and turn 7. Oh, contact! And Yossi's around.
That was inevitable.
That was inevitable.
And I'm sorry to say, I said it earlier on in qualifying, I hope TOS would have learnt their lesson. They haven't. Yossi certainly hasn't learnt his lesson as a result of that.
Yep, clearly hasn't been a big case there for them, but now that means the gap between the top 2, the top 3 in general, is broken up due to that incident, and Shazoo Tom is now left on his own there against Marlon, his fellow PSG F1 driver, but Shazoo Rick in the back. I would say he has a word with that, and will probably use his ERS to close in on these two. And Jeroen, already out of ERS, in fact, is he?
It's Marlon?
He'll struggle.
I thought Marlon was looking to the outside of turn number 3. Sorry to cut you off there. I thought he was going to go for the move. And actually, he might go for the move now, because he's really close to the back of the AlphaTauri. Is Tom going to fight this? Marlon pulls alongside. He's got a half a car length ahead. Marlon, though, still around the outside, tries to get Tom, and that is how you fairly race coming out of turn number 4. Take note, Yossi. Take note, TRS team. Marlon leads the way. Tom there in 2nd, Rick in 3rd. I'm sorry, but it's just simply true. 2 of the best can go at it side by side. Why can't Yossi and Rick a little bit earlier on? Marlon out on top, Tom in 2nd, Rick in 3rd, and Frankie, yeah, I agree with that comment.
As we were just talking about Rick, he had a bit of a snap there on the exit of turn 7. That was a bit of a tight one, but at least this brings him into DRS with these top 2. He may be out of ERS at the moment, but that is now a great opportunity to recover that battery, which in Austria is actually relatively simple, as just stick in the DRS of somebody ahead, and that battery will recharge itself, and someone like Jeroen will now struggle a lot, and I feel like the top 3 should probably be breaking away. And Skyline in 5th there, really keeping up with Jeroen, so certainly a good beginning to the race there for the VIR team, but at the same time Shazoo in 2nd and 3rd, both on the podium at the moment. It's Bertil there on the inside indeed of Karlsgaard, close stuff, but the job is done, and that is a good move there from Bertil. So moves going on up and down the field, that's just what we love to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's respectful driving at the end of the day. It's respectful driving, and again, TRS, I'm not being funny. Learn your lessons from this race. Learn your lessons from Imola, because if not, then OP are probably going to take your place, and I'm just going to put it as simply as that. Yep. Marlon leads the way from Tom in 2nd, Rick there in 3rd, Jeroen there in 4th. Currently, the top 3 obviously holding at 5/10 of a second. Rick, though, has begun to save up that ERS, and it's very easy, as you mentioned, to try and just tailgate, basically, your way into contention. He's got that DRS. He can lift and coast going into the corners as well, and that lifting and coasting will gain around 15% of ERS extra per lap. That is how I've seen Tom do this before around here. I know for a fine fact he has, because I saw him in TML F1 doing it on in qualifying and indeed in the race, in that full wet race, as Karlsgaard does retake the position past Bertilo. I think made a mistake actually out of turn number 1, and now Yossi side by side. Is he going to learn his lesson to the inside line of turn number 3?
No. More contact, yeah, again. Karlsgaard this time being pulled around, and that is not a good look for the boys in white at all. And will Bertil now come back at the Haas? Yes, he will. To the outside, I believe still the mediums would be better at this moment in time. And
beautiful.
Wow, he makes that work to his advantage. Very good stuff.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And Yossi actually got caught on the inside curb, which is why I think that move looked a little bit easier than necessary. But Batil, regardless, got through ahead of Yossi. He's doing his into 14th. Yossi there in 15th. Frankie saying he's worse than Schumacher. Knowing from Schumacher in F2, in PSGL F2, I might agree on that. As...
No comment.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm PSGL F2, but I'm not commentating on PSGL F2 tonight, so I can say whatever I want, can I? Yeah. Marlon leads the way, though. Tom in second, Rick in third. But the big question is now, Alex, what do the drivers do with this cloud cover coming over the circuit? Because it looks like it's getting very overcast.
Yeah, let's have a look. It does indeed look like, even if I just go on the onboard of a car there, it does look like the reflections are getting a bit less. And certainly, this might be a bit of a concerning factor there with Shizou Tom. Well, he is keeping on the backstep of Marlon. He doesn't want to rush anything.
To the inside on the Skyline. Sorry to cut you off. Gets the job done down the inside of turn number 4, and actually Skyline is back alongside him. Tries to get the move done. Oliver is out of the race, coming out the final corner. That might cause a safety car, and yes, indeed it does. Safety car deployed, out on track. And this, if there is potential rain, which I'm saying there isn't, if there is potential rain in this race, I think this is the worst possible time for safety car to come out, as Marlon is not in, Tom not in, Rick not into the pit lane either, and in fact, Rodadol is, and Jeroen is in as well.
Yep, it is 2 of the chasing pack coming into the pit lane. I believe perhaps Skyline now staying out to get that double track position for VIR along with the Shizou team. So we've now got 1, 2, 3, and 4 between 2 teams. Perhaps 2 teams we wouldn't have 100% expected to see, but well, apart from Shizou, of course. But yeah, there's 5 drivers there into the bag. I think Ryder and Bertil, of course, on those mediums being the obvious choices. Now going for hards. Technically could go to the end, but not too sure about that. Yossi as well, obviously in there for the TRS team. Jeroen already out of the pit lane. That would be a 2-stop, but it really depends on when a possible bit of weather would hit the track, which we are not sure of, but it's getting really overcast really quickly.
It is indeed. Predator, by the way, had a front wing change in the pit lane, so I'm assuming he had a contact with Oliver. That's why the 5-second penalty was given for Oliver a little bit earlier on. Unfortunate for TTG. Again, a shade of them for myself. I'm in TTG, so I'm not meaning to disown my own team here by saying this, but they are looking a real shadow of their former selves. 2 or 3 years ago, they were pretty much at the top of their game in terms of EML, in terms of other team events as well. But unfortunately, TTG, since obviously things have changed, since X Esports obviously came along, since Maze left, since everything went on in TTG, Predator and Oliver having to fill in for TTG as well. It is a bit of a shame, but there are better standard drivers I know for fine fact in TTG who will be grasping at the chance to come in and try and fix the problems that are necessarily there. Jav, by the way, in a very funny comment that I was laughing at a little bit earlier on, said, must have watched Rudy in LOE Division 1 around here. No, Rudy doesn't even come close. Rudy was terrible around this track. The worst piece of driving I've ever seen was him around this track. And that man, by the way, Rudy, won the PSGL F1 Championship on Monday.
So people can develop. You can see that very clearly there. There's Rudy with a brilliant season there. Maybe, there were some incidents involved. I've seen, of course, I've still caught a little bit of it, being a PSGL driver myself. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, Marlon, bit of a rent loss. That was a bit tempting, wasn't it?
That was a bit scary there for Marlon. I don't think he meant to do that. If he did, it would look quite stylish, to be honest. But yeah. If there is a set of weather coming over the circuit, it's coming from the Styrian mountain range, and did you know 73% of Austria is actually made up of mountains, as the safety car doesn't care about my fact. Safety car's coming in this lap, and that means Marlon's there, the virtual Marlon there. He is a German after all. He is a virtual safety car, and now will take the pace compared to, of course, the guys in behind. And this will be around, I think, around 60-65 mile an hour, there or thereabouts on average. Will be perfect for a restart. And, of course, down in towards turn number 9, Marlon will be one to watch out for off this restart, and will be now chomping at the bit to try and get rid of Tom early on. And again, bit of squirreling, a lot of wheel changes, of course. And now, I think Marlon coming in towards turn number 9. Is he going to say go right on the corner? Yes, he is. Coming through the final corner. or final 2 corners I should say, through turn number 9, through the right-hander turn number 10, and Marlon now leads the way from Tom in second, and Rick's actually been caught up a little bit behind here, as is Skyline, and Skyline's really under pressure from Stefano, in towards the right-hander turn number 1, but he's not going to get the job done in the Ferrari. Marlon leads the way, Tom in second, and Marlon has done a really good job off that restart. He has now gapped the Shazoo boys to outside of a second if you're Rick, to 5/10 of a second if you're Tom, and Tom there in second is just going to hold on content. Somebody that isn't content though is Name Changer to the inside line of Zero, tries to get the inside line off the restart, try to get him down the inside line, didn't quite get the job done in towards turn number 3 at Remus, now down in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. It remains as we are. Marlon leads the way, Tom in second, Rick in third, as actually, I was just about to flick on board there with somebody else. Jerome, though, powers down the inside on a Play Tendo and made him look like a Nintendo Wii. Got him through and in for 11.
Yes, indeed, Jerome is somebody who now really has to get a move on these fresh medium tyres. So is Yossi, who's also made up, I believe, 2 places already. As Jerome certainly needs to make up a lot of places. That could have been a warning, though, possibly, which is something to look out for on this Austrian track. It is very easy around some corners. Is that Yossi there to the inside of Play Tendo? Wow, that is good stuff, in fact, from the TRS driver there, moving past the Mercedes and up into 12th, so he's following Jerome there as Marlon sets the pace so far. 7.5 tenths clear of Shazoo Tom. It's a very good restart lap it has been, but we now have to keep our eyes on Jerome, who's had a bad exit though. Can Yossi maybe capitalize from this? I don't think he's quite close enough to the Ferrari. But there's nothing he can make work into.
To the inside line, and Stefano tries to get the job done. Goodness me, I nearly absolutely crap your pants on Shearer, but Urpek, Stefano 5th and 6th position. Now side by side running down the hill towards Schlosskuhl. Is Urpek going to think about getting this job done? Now to the outside line. In the end, doesn't want to go for the move. Might go for the switchback though. Stefano though holds for 5th. Urpek there in 6th, but Urpek, honestly, I thought he was going to do the dive of the century to the inside line there. Better than Anthony Patterson in goal for Sunderland. Urpek there in 6th. Stefano there in 5th, doing a good job. And he's actually still putting away from Saliba and all that as well.
Yes, that's some very, very exciting stuff here on these restart laps. And yeah, with DRS now coming in, it's going to be just getting more and more. Jerome very close to the back of Name Change. In fact, Urpek's teammate there for P9. So he really has to get a move on it. He looks like doing so. He's almost burnt out his DRS already. And there is just one. There is this DRS activation zone. Now he goes to the inside of turn 1. Oh no, that has not gone well. And Yossi's gone through.
Yeah, Yossi's straight through. 2 free positions there for Yossi. Your own Name Changer didn't deserve that at all. And now Xenox is coming out of nowhere as well. And Xenox to the inside line, tries to get the job done. Might even make contact with his teammate if he's not careful. Just about gets the job done on the brakes. Xenox in, he's into 10. And now your own Name Changer side by side once again down the straight and towards turn number 4. Tries to get the job done. In the end, though, comes from a mile back. He wants to be careful. He's on the side of mediums. And he's not being careful at all. He wants these positions. He wants these extra points for FVR. Doing a good job. But in the end, Name Changer 11, Euron and 12. In the end, they just caught on each other coming out of turn number 1. Nothing good done about that. And now they're together out on track. Stewards will not have a look into that one, I'm pretty certain.
Oh, look, Yossi is coming again. He's now on the back of Sailu. On the back of that Alfa Romeo, he's got Zero right ahead of him as well. Oh, a bit of a rear end slide there from Xenox behind us. Both the Haas cars really on it right now. And the weather has to be hitting very soon, surely, because we've never seen these drivers so racy at this stage of the race. And this is now getting really close. Exit. Superb exit from Yossi, and he moves straight past. Not even a contest there for the Alfa Romeo.
And he gets the job done. He might even get the job done on Zero. Not up in towards the hill, certainly at turn number 3, but maybe down the hill and towards turn number 4 at Schlossgold. He'll think about getting this job done. Name Changer in your own. Swap positions. Ride it out and play Tendo. Swap positions. And look at that. Yossi, 2 for 1 and about as many corners as Tom goes for the race lead on Marlon to the inside line. That caught me completely by surprise. Tom takes the lead for Marlon there in second. Rick there in third. Yossi did get that job done on Zero. That will definitely not be on overtakes of the week. Tom, though, definitely won't be on overtakes of the week either, because we missed that. Tom leads the way, Marlon in second, Rick there in third, and if the weather is coming, it will change, I'm sure, in the next 5 laps or so. If not, then the game is probably playing with us, and probably playing, certainly for a bit of time, I think, out on track. But Tom leads the way, Marlon second, Rick in third, and actually Marlon, purple middle sector, comes across the line, and in the end is 1.2 seconds down.
Yeah, a bit of battling there going. Yossi, despite being in that pack, sets the passes up Marlon. Oh, just catches that. That was so close. And now he has to face the attack of Rick behind. There's Name Change just spun around in turn 1. Oh, that is more positions lost there, Rick. Oh, no, he can't make that work. He's a bit too far back, but Marlon... Oh, that was Code Brown if it was. Oh, my word.
God almighty, Marlon is one very, very lucky man out on track there in second. Rick there in third, doing a good job at this stage. Fulham, by the way, making changes in the Sunday match. I'm just seeing that on the iPlayer. Tom leads the way, Marlon in second, Rick there in third. Lap 16 about to go on to a 36. And given how Sunderland are performing, if it is 1-1 in the next half an hour or so, there probably won't be any interviews, but I don't care. Tom leads the way, Marlon in second, Rick there in third. Scotland there in fourth, Stefano in fifth, Erpek in sixth, Yorzi 7th, Zero Nate Sardo, Zenox top 10, and he's picked up a 3-second penalty along with Jeroen, who's also picked up a 3-second penalty. Radadal in 12th, Carl Scarrett 13th, Predator 14th, Clay Tendall there in 15th, Bertil in 16th, Name Changer 17th, Tom, fastest lap of the race, 5% of ERS, has got Molan outside of a second. Luckily for Molan though, he's still in DRS range, and he is visibly quicker in a straight line even without DRS, so Tom is in trouble here.
Yeah, Marlon actually is just about by the skin of his teeth held on to that DRS. I've seen that gap from Tom to Marlon go up, but it just wasn't enough. Jeroen there swapping places again with Xenos. Seems to be a bit of a theme in this race. But currently the man in the FDR car is through, but Xenox there coming again. He has got not the better tires, but he has the ERS. Now, can he make a switchback work? I don't think so. Now the superior grip will come through. Yossi is actually past on Erpek.
No
bit
way.
of a battle there going on. Oh, can they make this work? Erpek still on the inside. This should be the better position. Erpek, oh, more contact, but Erpek stays ahead for now. Yossi getting extremely racy.
Ooh, and
wow.
Pit stops. Skyline's in. Skyline's into the pit lane, and he just about forces Stefano out wide, coming through the corner there, but Skyline is into the pit lane. This is definitely indicative of a dry race now. If he's coming in this early, set of mediums coming on.
Mediums, yeah.
Yeah, set of mediums coming on, and that will be him into the pit lane, going one stop to the end of this race. We should not worry about the weather at all. The Codemasters game is just duking us. As Yossi now on the back of Erpek, looks the outside line, dummies him to the inside line, now up the hill and towards turn number 3, tries to get the job done on the brakes, and to be fair, he might do. He's nearly got the job done. Erpek there is still side by side though, gets the better exit, gets on the ERS, but in the end, Yossi is through and he's into 5th. Erpek's not fighting that one, even know how good he is. Yossi there in 5th, Erpek there in 6th, and 3 wide in the background, nearly Jeroen on the back of Zero and Sardo are battling there for 7th, 8th and 9th position. But Yossi gets the job done, Thuni's into 5th, Erpek there in 6th. Very nice move. The criticism does work.
At times, certainly, it does make a difference here to have a look at the drivers a bit critically. Let's see, Marlon heads in. Marlon is into the pit lane. Yes, he is. And that is an undercut then against Shizu Tom. Rick is carrying on as well. So it's just Marlon, it looks like. Some pretty early stops happening. Stefano is in. It's a big lock-up from Marlon, but he gets away with it. And no speeding there. Let's hope for a good pit stop, of course, on his side. It looks good. Yes, it is indeed. Now, where is Skyline, though, in relation to his teammate, the F7 champion, heading through this final corner now? And I feel like he's going to be ahead by quite a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be about 3 seconds, I think. It's going to be more Stefano Skyline nearly side by side coming out the pit lane. Jeroen, by the way, is through and Sardo at the top of the hill on the left-hand side, but Stefano is ahead of Skyline, and he's ahead by a good second. Those tyres will, of course, get warmed up. Doesn't take much warming up, and speaking of warming up, Zero's on the back of Xenox running down the hill in towards turn number 4. Schlossgold goes all the way around the outside. The Mercedes tries to outdo the Haas to the inside line. The Haas there on the inside line, though, still fighting back. Now the advantage is for Zero on the inside line, and the GSP man waltzes through to the inside line. Nice stuff there by Zero. Clearly somebody in the TRS camp has had words with these boys. Beautiful stuff by Zero. He's into 7th as Tom. Rick, though, is into the pits. Tom stays out. Rick into the pit lane, onto lap 19 out of 36 we go. Tom leads the way, Rick in 2nd, and if that's how you take a pit lane entry, that was beautiful from Rick, and he's just gained time as a result of that as well.
Yeah, he must have. That was really looking very committed. Not something I'd expect to say about pit lane entry, but very good stuff there from Rick. Zero in behind as well. This is going to be tight with these other 2 Red Bull cars, I believe. Marlon is on the back of Name Changer as well. That's not going to help him.
They're side by side coming out the pits. There he is, right-hand side, and Rick's behind. Rick is behind Marlon. Crucial for Marlon's perspective. Skyline, though, nowhere near in the end. And in fact, Stefano was got out ahead of Skyline as well after the early pit stops. Marlon, though, now is ahead of Name Changer. and puts Rick in trouble potentially. The Shazoo boys, whatever this pit stop strategy was from Rick, that hasn't worked out because he's actually came out in a bit of traffic there in Name Changer, and he do not want to be passing a former F1 Esports Challengers man.
I feel like he might be pitting in pretty soon. Rick also picked up a bit of DRS there, of course, out of that pit lane, but still his tyres having to slightly warm up. Tom indeed is into the pit lane now as well, so let's see how this is going to pan out, of course, in comparison. But Name Change, I'd imagine he's going to pit in as well very soon. Now let's have a look at Tom's pit stop indeed. Yossi now takes the lead for the moment, but yeah, he might just have to pit again. And now onto these mediums. Good stop from the AlphaTauri boys.
He's in trouble.
And now let's see. This can't go too well. Marlon, fastest lap and by a margin. He's going to be so far ahead. Wow. That is a massive margin for Tom to catch up now. And Marlon has put himself into a great position. Wow.
And look at Rick. Rick's right on the back of his own teammate as well. Passes Name Changer to the inside line up the hill. But this is problems now for Shazoo. Second and third net at the minute, and actually Tom goes deep, and Rick might actually get this job done, maybe down the hill and towards turn number 4. And Tom, I think maybe is Rick going past him. Yeah, Rick is going past him. I don't blame him at all. Rick is there in 10th position, Tom there in 11th. That had to be done. That had to be done, because if not, Tom would have been costing Rick time, and in the end, they would have been costing each other time. Marlon would have just escaped up the road by another 2-3 seconds, potentially, out on track. But Marlon there in 9th, Rick there in 10th. In the end, Tom there in 11th, Name Changer in 12th is in a good position, but Stefano's in a good position. He's on the back of Name Changer, run up the hill, and now to the inside of turn number 9. Might even think about the move to the inside line, and he does, but it's off track, and that is not on overtakes of the week. Stefano pulls to the inside line. There's one way of getting a move done, and then there's that from Stefano. The sun now breaks through the clouds. Stefano there in 12th, Name Changer in 13th. He was so late on the brakes, he couldn't get stopped for the corner, basically. Name Changer got sent off. In the end, I don't think that'll get investigated. The job was already done for Stefano, and he's in for 11th.
Yes, he is indeed, but perhaps Name Changer was a bit hampered by that. I don't know maybe what his strategy is, if he wants to continue on, maybe go for a set of softs later on, but it's not a good track to do that, I would say, in my personal experience of racing here. But yeah, this is certainly not the best display of racing. Yossi currently leads the way then. On those old mediums, they will probably not go to the end. Erpek there in second. Both NLR drivers, in fact, still have to make a pit stop. And yeah, Erpek indeed is in. Yossi, is he? No, he's not in this.
if, put it this way, if pit entries get investigated around this track, Erpek's in trouble there because he went completely over the white line. He might pick up a 5-second penalty.
Well, that's not the best news in my completely unbiased opinion, but I had to put it out there once at least. As now, I think, yeah, Marlon's got a bit of traffic here of P1 Bertil. Bertil might be going to the end with that early pit stop, and now Marlon will have to make this move as soon as he can.
He's got enough ERS.
He is through.
Has he?
Oh, this is tight, you know. Indeed, but Marlon is through for now, but now look at Bertil's ERS. Will he try to fight it? Is the question. I don't think so, no. He's already way too far back, and now could be, in fact, still a helpful factor for Marlon.
Definitely so. Oh, Sunderland's just had a chance. Well done, Sunderland. Yossi leads the way. You're on in second, Rodadal in third. Lap 22 out of 36 out on track. Scarline now is in a bit of trouble because Name Changer's right in front of him. He's not going to think about to the inside line at turn number 6, is he? Not quite. Name Changer does like that corner now. He's taken a much deeper line in to defend the corner. And Scarline right on the back of him. Think needs an extra spoiler potentially as Jeroen is into the pit lane. Of course, from that earlier set of medium compound tyres, of course, in that safety car, he pitted in already. They were never going to get to the end of the race. Name Changer, though, pretty much on the limit there, coming out the corner. Rick is through on Bertil, I think, running up the straight in towards turn number 1. Looks to the outside line. Rick might actually try and go around the outside line, and Tom actually might get a really good run on them both. And now we'll turn the timing tower off the left-hand side just to see this move, because Tom now on the back of Bertil. Rick is there on the inside line, trying to defend, and Tom now has to throw the Island Needle up the hill and towards turn number 3 we go. Gets the switch back, and in the end the Ferrari makes contact with him. That's Stefano, I think, in the background. There is Rick now is through on Bertil. Bertil now down in 5th. Bertil's now fighting back on Rick down in towards turn number 4, and Rick holds on just about. Bertil there in 5th. Tom there in 6th, Stefano there in 7th, and if there was anybody that I thought was going to get a really good run out of that, it was Tom. And here he is, the inside line at turn number 6, gets the job done to the inside line. Beautiful stuff by Tom, Dooney's into 5th.
If there's one man who's really benefited from this, it is Marlon, who's got through really early onto Bertil, but now the Shazoo guys will have almost 3 seconds to catch up.
Oh no! Stefano on the outside of turn number 9! And that was never going to work. Not in my lifetime was that going to work. And you see even wider coming out of turn number 10, Bertil's no pass.
Bertil's through.
What on earth was that?
Well, the NASCAR mantra very much counts here. If it's grey, it's okay, it looks like. As Bertil and Stefano still fighting away. Now Stefano is through, but that's certainly not the best display of racing there. Bertil is still fighting this, isn't he? Look at how close he is. This is crazy.
And now it's done. Now it's done. He's got caught in the outside curb. That is unfortunate, but that is just hilarious from my perspective. Stefano, how on earth? Track limits is one thing. How on earth he hasn't picked up a warning because of that is another thing. Track limits do define themselves on this game. That was just extraordinary from Stefano. He got the move done anyways. And actually, Yossi spun out the race lead. Yossi has spun out the race lead. Coming out of turn 7 and 8, he's got caught in the inside curb, I think. And that is real bad problems there for Yossi. Is he going to come in the pit lane? No. Continues on. And this is trouble for the Shazoo boys.
Yes, indeed. This is from more than one perspective. First of all, we've obviously got the aging mediums who will just get worse and worse. And then at the same time as well, unfortunately, we had to mention earlier, it's also just the sole fact that it is that Haas car in front of the two AlphaTauris. And yeah, they all have a very difficult time getting through there. It's all playing perfectly into the hands of Marlon here, who is leading, well, in effect, because Rydal is still ahead, but these hard tyres will not be getting any better. And Marlon, yeah, he's looking really good now.
He is. Skyline through on Bertil, by the way, and he's into 7th position. Nice job there. Bertil was still trying to fight that up the hill, which is why I was going in the background there. Down in P8, it wasn't like that, but you get the gist. Sadly on the back of Zero as well, further down the field, pulls the inside line of turn number 4, and should get the job done. He does indeed get the job done. Beautiful stuff from Masadi. 2-lap pressure tyres, around about 8% better tyre wear around this track at this point from Masadi's perspective. And the FRL man, bit of an underdog so far on this race. He's going to be on for a net, P9 I think at this stage, with Rydal and Bertil still yet to come in the pit lane. They are obviously predicted to come in, I'm sure, for a set of softs, or they're just going to stay out there. And if they are staying out there, Rydal could perhaps fight for the race lead. I know we've still got 11 laps of racing left, but Rydal could perhaps still fight for the race lead as Marlon on the back then. Predator has spun out of turn number 9, so that is unfortunate for Predator. He's not purring his way back into the... Oh, is he purring his way back in the pit lane? No, he's not. Rydal leads the way. Marlon there in second, and now Marlon right on the back of Rydal has got better ERS, better straight line speed as well. Down the straight, gets the job done. Into turn number 4, easy as you like. Marlon through, and he's into the lead. And I think you might have seen a position change further down the field. Erpek and Bertil, was it?
Yes, indeed. It was getting a bit close between the two of them, but Erpek did get the job done in the end with the better traction on those fresher medium tyres. It was a relatively simple move still, but yeah, certainly not the most comfortable one there. But yeah, Marlon, yeah, he's going to have to now pull clear of that McLaren, and then
Rick's on the back of Yossi. Rick's on the back of Yossi, and Yossi is defending for his absolute life here. 2 moves already into the corner, a third on the entrance into the corner. That might get looked at, and Rick taps him out the way there, and now Tom might just get the run as well. We'll take this from Tom's perspective. On the back there of Rick and Yossi, in towards turn number 1, and Yossi moving right-hand side in towards turn number 1 on Rick. Tom now gets a really good run on them both, and now Yossi, has he got the straight line speed? Rick certainly doesn't, and I think Rick is actually backing off this, because there's Stefano now on the outside line, and Rick all of a sudden is being overtaken by Stefano. To the outside line, the FDO man goes. Is the Shazoo man going to hang on? Just about. They were pretty much hammer and tongs. Tom now on the back of Yossi's got to be very careful running down the hill towards turn number 4. And will remain as they are. Tom around the outside of turn number 4 though, tries to get the job done. Now for the inside of turn number 6. Tries to get the job done into this part of the track. Yossi there, contact between them both, and Stefano and Rick are through. Stefano and Rick, by the way, still fighting side by side in the background. That is one way to fight between these two. Another way is that Tom and Yossi far too aggressive. In the end, Tom, I think, had a bit of a lock-up in towards turn number 6, cascaded into the side of Yossi. Not his fault at all, but then again, when you get aggressive racing like that, there was always going to be a problem, and that ended up with Yossi and Tom colliding.
Yeah, we've pretty much seen a perfectly contrasting sequence of battling there. We've had the very, very feisty, to say the least, battle there between Tom and Yossi. Yossi, who's in fact had a spin there now in turn one. In fact, is that with Erpeg? Yes, it is. Erpeg's got no wing, and that is a safety car. Oh, that throws a massive spanner in the works, doesn't it? Such a late safety car. That destroys everything that Marlon had. He had an effective, I think, 5-second lead over the next medium runner. Of course, was about a second clear of Ryderdal. But now this shakes everything up again, and you do not want to be in this position, particularly as the race leader.
Yeah, and that, by the way, was unfortunate timing with Erpek and Yossi's collision. Of course, Sunderland now getting beat 2-0 off Fulham. But Marlon leads the way, Ryderdal in second. That's what my awe was for, not the Erpek and Yossi collision. I didn't see what happened between them both, but they obviously collided. Erpek's got no front wing. Safety car now, of course, coming in, and Marlon is into the pit lane.
Marlon's in.
Marlon is into the pit lane. Ryderdal will also follow in, and Ryderdal actually... My word, this has worked out an absolute treat for the ET8 man.
Ooh, Stefano's staying out, Rick's staying out, Tom is in. Oh, this is going to be tense. I would say there are enough laps still to make the soft tyres work, but also enough laps for the medium runners to still have a shot at it. But I feel like the ones on the softs are going to have such a massive advantage. Just
Tom's got some wing change.
Stay out.
Tom's got a front wing change. Set us off compounded tyres. He must have had a collision with, but obviously that collision with Yossi, I'm thinking, is where he's obviously picked up the damage. And Tom has actually held up Skyline in the pit lane as well, so actually he hasn't came off better off. But in the end, Ryderdal, I thought was going to work out quite well. Silent and Zayl stayed out in front of him, though.
There's some people fitting for fresh mediums. Do they not have fresh softs left, perhaps? Or how do I see this? Because I would have thought maybe they would be... It could be as well. But I feel like now, even at this stage of the race, and even with the stage of the game we're at, I feel like the softs would make it to the end and would still be in pretty solid condition. So perhaps errant tyre choice there from some of the drivers. I'm not too sure on it. But a lot of drivers staying out, and the one in the best position, I feel like, I would almost say, is actually Stefano. It just depends how well Marlon can get through on these fresh softs. He's got 3 cars between himself and the next soft runner off Shazoo Tom. But I feel like the top 3 might be in a good position here.
Jav making me laugh with the comments again in the comment section. Yeah, we potentially could. This could end up going one or two ways. These next 6 or 7 laps could be defining in terms of how EML Premier goes for the rest of the season, or it could end up as many people being Yossi out on track, which I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Stefano though leads the way, Rick there in second, Jeroen there in third. We are hoping though, from our perspective, very good, clean, fair racing. We've had far from that, I think, certainly from a few TRS point of view, certainly, even though Yossi had that real big second half of the race where he started overtaking everyone very cleanly, very fairly. It shows that he can race when he puts his mind to it. In the end though, TRS, you should be ashamed. You really should be ashamed. I'm not going to try and have a dig on a public stream, but for fielding 2 drivers like that who clearly can't give any racecraft, you want to have a good long hard look at yourselves. Stefano though leads the way, Rick in second, Jeroen in third, Marlon there in fourth. And coming back to your point, Alex, I think Marlon's going to actually make quite easy work through these guys, because Jeroen and Stefano and Rick are obviously there, FBR against Shazoo, in terms of the Constructors fight. Marlon, though, has much fresher tyres compared to these guys, and normally, from 4th, I would say, yeah, that's going to be quite easy from Marlon's perspective to get through. So I'd be expecting him, maybe, ahead, lap 33.
Oh, and the safety car's coming in already, so we're going to get, what, 6 laps of racing, that is?
Yep.
I think so, day 1. Yep, it will be 6 more laps of racing, that means another 4 laps as well where the DRS will be at play. And yeah, to be fair, I did not factor that in. The DRS will be a massive factor here for Marlon. If it was without DRS, then I would say staying out could almost have been the better strategy. But now Stefano will be leading the pace. When is he going to go? He can't yet, but this is going to be critical as to when he is going to go, when that safety car is peeling off into the pit lane. Very shortly, Stefano will be able to get this race underway.
And this is actually a very quick restart, I think, from Stefano. I think he'll go on the exit of the final corner here. And he will wait. He will wait. Oh, and there's Platendo's in the pit lane. That's why that's happened.
Oh, okay.
Stefano though
into
the race lead, down towards turn 1, and Jeroen and Rick make contact in towards turn 1. Rick to the inside line, and that is perfect from Jeroen. He was much better, and already Marlon's on the back. Bit of hand of rage there from the AlphaTauri driver. Siley was spun in the background, I think. More hand of rage from the Red Bull. Stefano leads the way. Jeroen in second. Marlon in third. Marlon tries to go off track all the way around the outside of Jeroen. In the M3 wide does not work. I think Rick actually made contact there with Jeroen, which then knocked on into effect there on Marlon. Marlon there in third. Rick there in fourth. Rodadal's right in this as well. To the inside on Azero. This should be quite easy from the ETA man if he can get the car stop, that is. And now Tom. Look at Tom to the inside line. Might get 2 for 1 to the outside line at turn number 6. Tries to get the job done all the way around the outside. And he nearly does, but Rodadal's still there. Tom on the outside line, and Rodadal spins in front of him. Rodadal was already losing the car before Tom made contact with him. Rodadal unfortunately making contact. Skyline around the outside of Zero as well. This is chaotic early on. Stefano and Jeroen lead the way. They don't have to give us positions. They're there on sufferance. Marlon there in third. Rick in fourth. It seems like it's between the front 4. Tom, by the way, Rodadal had a catch on the curb, which then Tom, unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time, just sent him around. But the contact was made with the curb as opposed to the car.
Yep, I think that's the most likely version there. Skyline goes through on 0, up into P6 now. 3 and 6 currently for the VIR team, but I think Marlon is now... Oh, that's a spin.
Tom's round.
That's Tom. Oh,
Tom
that is a big loss. And he's beat, is he? No, just about not. Just gets away with it. But that is more points lost for Shazoo. That is so unlucky for them. FBR now in 1-2. But I think Marlon has to get through on these guys as soon as he possibly can before the DRS gets activated. He's so close to the back of that Ferrari. Oh my word, this is tight.
The parking the Ferrari is about as good as Sutton's defence at this stage. Stefano leads the way. Jeroen in second, Marlon in third, and now Marlon looks to the outside line. Is Jeroen going to let him go, or is he thinking about defending to the inside line? Thinks about defending. That is perfect defence actually from Jeroen in towards turn number 9. Never really seen that before, but I never really see racing around here before. Stefano leads the way. Jeroen in second, Marlon there in third. On to lap 33 out of 36. Marlon in the end, on the back of Jeroen. The FER team have got to make those Ferraris look as wide as possible. Marlon, though, physically, his straight line speed is much better. There's a yellow flag, and that's Rodadal around, unfortunately. And actually, oh my God, Jeroen to the inside line. I don't know if that was actually meant to be happening, but he's through and he's into the lead. That is absolutely phenomenal. Stefano now to the outside line. That was definitely not meant, I think, for action there. Stefano, though, retakes the position on Jeroen. The FDR buys are working. And Marlon catches on the inside curb. Rick there in fourth is still in there. And there's been contact further down the field. Yossi's involved. Name changer involved, I think, as well. Yossi has certainly spun on the inside of turn number 4. Stefano leads the way. Jeroen in second, Marlon in third. Whether that was planned or not, that was really good.
Yeah, if it was planned, that would have been absolutely incredible. I mean, such a dive to the inside there from Stefano that I just can't imagine it was planned. But after all, it's still 1 and 2 for the FER team. It's looking so good for them right now, even if Jeroen does have that 3-second penalty. But he has the fresher tyres over his teammate. And I feel like Marlon might just be running out of time. Big rear end loss from the Red Bull. Oh, can he make this work now? Shazoo Rick is now very close in the back. He's got a lot of VRS. He's coming for it, isn't he? He's coming for that podium position on the track. He's to the inside. Massively outbreaks himself. But very well done, in fact, from Rick and up into the podium places. Marlon's still fighting this, but he just doesn't have the battery.
And FBR side by side again. Stefano lets you run through. Stefano lets you run through. But to what extent, though? What extent, though? He's got a 3-second penalty. Rick and Marlon are side by side as well. I think Rick had a mistake there coming out of turn number 4, and Marlon's back through and he's into third. Those softs just haven't got into play. His straight line speed was really good against Tom in terms of comparison first off the race. Marlon now, though, FER making those cars look as wide as possible. Jeroen leads the way. Stefano in second. And if there is a plan now, final 2 laps for FER, Stefano, wingman to Jeroen, try and gap him to 3 seconds. That's the plan.
that's what I'm thinking as well, but I think the softs might just still be a little bit too good for that, so that's such a double-edged sword there. I feel like the softs are dropping, but still are a little bit too good for that gap. Marlon, again, the slight rear end loss. So he's just not looking too confident. The tires are raging, and now the top speed. It doesn't look like it can be enough. It would have to be a very audacious move. No, there's multiple moves, I'd say, almost from the Ferrari. But that is a super wide Ferrari now. Oh my, and I think this could just be the team play that FBR will need. Marlon using that ERS, he's closing up. Can he make this work outside of 4? And he's going to have to go the long way. And can he make this one work? Oh, he's still there.
Oh, no.
Wow, but Stefano stays ahead. Could this work for FBR after all?
I think it could. And Stefano, it's now, what, 9/10 of a second coming out of turn number 6. Jeroen, though, his tyres are beginning to go off, quite visibly out on track as well, and he's not going to be gapped to 3 seconds. So they've got to come up with a new plan and quick. I think that plan would be, let Marlon go, attack Jeroen, and then try and wrap up a 1-2 by attacking Marlon again in the final stages of the final lap of the race. As now Marlon, speaking of which, gets a really good run out the final corner, looks to the inside line at turn number 1. Stefano now coming all the way to the middle of the track, and Marlon has to back out, just about backs out. There's another yellow flag, and Marlon has a huge spin. That is it. FER are on for 1-2. I think Rick, though, might be on for 3rd position. Now to the outside line, and in the end, again, the Ferraris, I don't know what the FER tactics are, and whatever it is, it's ridiculous because Rick has to dive and absolutely change his line to the inside line. Stefano leads the way, Jeroen in 2nd, and now this was not on the menu because Rick was up the inside line trying to get the job done. Marlon now around the outside of turn number 4, tries to go all the way around the outside of Rick. This will be phenomenal. This will be great. This will be absolutely extraordinary. Marlon to the outside line, now for the inside of turn 6. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely sensational for Marlon. Retakes that position, turns a negative into a positive. Stefano, though, in the FVR team games are going to win them the race, it seems, as now Marlon will try and attack again on the back of Jeroen. What a final lap this has been, though. Stefano, though, through the final couple of corners, FVR are going to pick up a 1-2. Jeroen's penalty might get looked into. Regardless, though, FVR Stefano is a race winner in Austria. Marlon there in 2nd, Rick there in 3rd, Skyline in 4th. Big day for the VIR boys, provisionally 2nd and 4th position out on track. Jeroen in the end down in 6th position. But for me, personally, that was tinged with a little bit of, let's just say, controversy from the FVR boys. I thought they were far too aggressive in terms of their team tactics. There is defending, and then there's that level of defending. And from my point of view, personally, that was too much defending. These guys know better. Shazoo boys, I'm sure will put up in a penalty about this. FVR not normally like this. When they're defending a 1-2, I can understand. But defending a 1-2 like that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I feel like there have been some stages which were slightly controversial, to say the least. It was definitely still some brilliant action being put up there, but the defensive moves were so aggressive. I feel like this might still be looked into. But for now, the provisional podium, at least on my end, are already coming out onto those top 3 steps. And Stefano picks up a provisional win, holding off Marlon in the end with Rick in 3rd. It was a great drive from Stefano there to keep on the top. Marlon just couldn't edge them, unfortunately, towards the end on those fresh softs. But yeah, as the leader, you could pretty much only go wrong in such a late safety car situation. So I think out of that, he probably still got the most out of it. But I'm not too sure how happy you'll be with those FBR boys defending.
I thought Southern were in. I thought Southern were in. I thought Southern were going to score. Sorry. P1 though out on track for now is Stefano. And yeah, to be honest, letting each other through, I think, is what I'm going on about in terms of aggressive defending. They had to defend a 1-2 somehow. The 3 seconds was never going to be out to your own, so they had to try something different. They tried something different, but even then, that trying something different ended up in a bit of controversy. That's how I saw it, certainly from my perspective. Stefano, though, does take the win. Marlon in the end, 2nd with the fastest lap of the race as well, so he does get an extra point, I believe, for that. Rick there in 3rd, Skyline there in 4th, Urpek there in 5th, Jeroen there in 6th, Zero in 7th, Name Changer in 8th, Rodadal in 9th, Batil in the top 10, with Kyle Scout in 11th, Yossi down in 12th position, TRS in 13th also with Xenox, Tom in 14th, Playtender in 15th, Predator there in 16th. What on earth happened to Tom after that spin? Down in 14th, Sidey there in 17th, and Oliver actually was the only DNF out of that race, believe it or not. It was Stefano though who took the win, Marlon there in 2nd, and Rick there in 3rd as That is it for tonight.
That is it for tonight, and I think from that final speech pattern we can tell it was very chaotic, this race, and I feel like it has very much been reflecting, and I mean, what an Austrian Grand Prix it's been, what a race we're heading on into a break with, and, well, if this is anything to go by, well, perhaps just cleaning up a little bit with those driving standards in parts. It was certainly getting very feisty, very controversial as well out there, but in the end, still some brilliant action being served up to us, and I really hope you enjoyed it, everybody. But certainly some drivers might just have some words with other drivers on this racetrack today.
Yeah, definitely so. Steph asking for interviews. Do you know what? Because Sunderland are getting beat, yeah, we'll do interviews. Why not?
Might as well.
If it was 1-1, as I say, there wouldn't have been any interviews because you would have been losing me for the final 20 minutes of the match. But yeah, we will do interviews. So, would you mind inviting the top 3 in?
Yes, I will take care of that. Who are they? That was Stefano, Marlon, and Rick, wasn't it?
Rick, yeah.
Okay, gonna quickly find them.
We'll speak to at least one of the top 3, I think.
I'm inviting into the lobby again. Great.
Making the same mistake as me. That's what you're doing.
Of course. Learning from the best. It's always that.
Learning from the best. And yet, just to confirm, by the way, about the calendar, yes, we are on a break week next week, so that means La France in Le Castellet, of course, is going to be coming from round 6 of the championship, so we'll be saying bonjour, of course, after our week's break, which, of course, is next week. So if anybody does want to race next week, don't, because I'm not going to be commentating next week, and don't, because I think Sunderland's going to be playing next week as well, and they've just got it over the bar. Or Fulham have just got it over the bar. I thought it was going to be 3-0, but to be fair, Fulham have been brilliant in this match, and Sunderland have looked absolutely woeful. That's what happens when you make 7 changes, and that's what happens when you haven't got Ross Stewart in your squad, or any striker for that fact up front. But there we are.
Yes, indeed. Quickly getting Stefano in. I believe Marlon is already here, so
hello there.
Marlon. Hello there.
Yeah, Stefano was getting an invite
Rick
as well.
Yep, Stefano's got one. I'm just searching for Rick quickly, and then we'll be sorted.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, Yossi's driving standards are so bad, Trust didn't even know what actually happened in that race.
Jesus.
That's how bad it is.
No
really,
further comments.
Just listen to the commentary.
There they are.
Just listen to the commentary, and you will see how frustrated we are with his driving standards. And if there's no improvement by next week, then we'll assume nothing is going to change from Yossi's perspective, nothing is going to change from the TRS perspective, and therefore you're just going to get an instance week upon week. So if you're prepared for that, well done to you. If you're not, then get him out. Simple. Stefano, though, is the man who takes the win in P1, and Stefano, in, I've got to say, controversial circumstances, that race win. Of course, with the tactics there from the FBR team in the final 2 laps of the race, defending that P1 and P2. Talk through the race from your perspective, because that was quite interesting. If he is here.
Yes.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. There he is. You haven't problems with your mic, I think,
question?
Yeah,
I forgot to plug in my mic.
Yeah, P1 out on track. Sunderland's just scored, by the way. Get in. Just totally missed the goal because I'm doing this interview. Yeah, might have to watch the match now, but Stefano takes the race win, of course. And Stefano, in the end, final 2 laps of the race, the FER team had to defend hard for that race win.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy because we weren't expecting a win after the first stint. There were lots of hard winners, but yeah, amazing teamwork with Jeroen. We played it perfectly. It was, in my opinion, it was just about clean. Sometimes it was a bit almost over the limit, but it was an amazing battle, and with a great communication in the party as well. So that was perfect for us.
Yeah, there was definite communication in the party because I could tell going down towards turn number 4 where you were just letting each other through and just obviously trying to bring that. What was the first plan actually to get your own outside of 3 seconds? Because that's what it looked like when he was what 9/10 ahead of you, I think.
Now we knew that like Jeroen had fresher mediums, and we knew he couldn't drive out of the 3 seconds because if he was on P1. Then I had Marlon behind me, and I was with 40% mediums, so there was no way I would have defended without DRS. So our plan was to just hold Jeroen behind me with his fresh mediums, and try and defend as hard as possible against Marlon and Rick.
Yeah, and it was a very hard stoic defense, I've got to say, in the final 2 laps of that race as well, and that worked out absolutely perfectly because FEO, of course, gained on the Shazoo team. Tom, of course, finishing further down the field. So that must set you up quite well going into the break week.
Yeah, we were very happy after the result, and a few people in the top 5 crossed the pit entry line. So we still can get maybe one P1, P4. So
yeah,
that's pretty good from our side.
Yeah, definitely so. Alex, any questions?
I have actually got nothing to add to that, so I'm just going to say congratulations a lot to that great drive, really, at the top there. You have to execute it like this in such difficult circumstances with fast, soft runners going behind, so congratulations from my side, and yeah, from my side. You'll be let off any questions, actually, this time.
Yeah, final question from me though. Obviously, break week after the break week, of course, we come to France. Is that a track that you like?
I hate it, so I won't be driving there. I've never had a league race on France, and I will never have a league race on France. That's what I know.
Good one. Fair enough, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I've never really commentated on France around on this game either, but when I have, it's normally very fun races. So hopefully we get to see that, of course, in 2 weeks' time. And whoever's driving, of course, for the FER team, good luck to them, because they might just well need it if the Shazoo boys, of course, come back to form in France. But Stefano, go and enjoy your evening.
You too, mate. Good evening.
You are very welcome indeed.
Welcome.
Just to say to Tiffy in the F1 Discord, the Premier 1 Discord, apparently he thinks that the commentators should be neutral. We should be neutral, yes, totally agree with you on that, but when bad driving comes into effect, we can't be neutral. I state facts on this stream. If you don't like the facts, tough, get used to it.
Simple as that. Simple as that. That's what you get.
Simple as that, yeah. Anyways, enough about me trying to rampage at TOS tonight. We can speak to the man, of course, who finished in P2 in that race with some very few hairy moments out on track, to be sure. That was, of course, Marlon. And Marlon, my word, you had to really work that car, let alone fight for that P1, or P2 even.
Yeah, that's right. Were pretty intense last laps. And fair play to FVR. They did a pretty amazing job to get it 1-2 on track at least. They did an impression of me and Artesh, because we're doing the same thing always when we together 1-2. And I knew what they did in front of me, but I couldn't do anything about it because then my exit was too bad, or I nearly spun. But I knew I have to do something different to get through, but it didn't work in the end. But still, P2, I guess it's a pretty decent result. But the second safety car was, not so nice, because that was my win. Not gone, but it was I had a 5-second gap or something like that, and it's a shame, but I take P2 in the end.
Yeah, P2 in the end. My reaction, by the way, Fulham's now 3-1 up against Sunderland. It really isn't going according to plan in terms of the... anyways, interviews. Focus on the interviews, not the football. Focus on the interviews. And yeah, you really had to fight that car, especially in the final couple of laps of that race. where do you think that fight for P1 was actually gone? Because in the end, it looked like you had better straight line speed. Certainly in the first half of the race, you looked like you had better straight line speed, even compared to the FER guys in the end.
Yeah, but I guess in the end it was lap 35 exit turn 1. And
Yeah.
I mean, on the safety car restart I was already alongside Jerome, but then he pushed me off and I had to go off the track. It was, yeah, it was not my line really, but he crossed me a little bit, but it was in the end hard but fair, I guess. I think. Yeah, it was pretty intense, that's for sure, and they did an amazing job and they deserved the result in the end.
Yeah, definitely so, indeed. Alex, any questions?
Yes, definitely. I've got one actually regarding qualifying, because we've had a little bit of a moment there in the comms box when you were going about a tenth up, I think, on almost anybody, and then Shazoo Tom comes out of nowhere and puts another tenth on you. And my question to that is, how unexpected was that in your opinion? Did you perhaps think, wow, that was a good lap for myself, and then Tom comes and beats it by another tenth? Well, how were you feeling at that point?
Nah, it was expected in my opinion, because he's rapid in Austria, and he did a couple of weeks ago when we practiced for the PSJ against WOR event. He did a 3.9 as a banker, and yeah,
okay.
And I was happy with the lap because it was my PB today. Also today, my PB is a 4.0 flat, but I was pretty happy with the lap. There was still something, I guess Paul was in it, but yeah, I had a little bit of miscommunication with Skyline. He was on the lap, and then he wasn't, and then I let him through, and the McLaren of P1 Bertil or something like that drove in front of me. I thought there is a gentleman's agreement that this not happens, but yeah. In the end, it wasn't. That's why I was 1.5 tenths down on my time in the first sector alone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, greetings to Skyline, by the way, from me still, because I suppose he'll be having a bit of a word with me after Monday. Yeah, thanks a lot. That's a very good insight for me, and I think for the stream as well in general. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem, and thank you for commentating the race as always.
Very welcome, mate.
Yeah, you are very welcome indeed, and of course, the third man we're going to speak to tonight, it is Mr. Shazoo, not Academy Rick anymore, it is Mr. Shazoo Rick, and Rick, in the end, finishing in P3, I think it was pretty deserving, given how, obviously, Tom spun very late on that race. Shazoo boys still leading the championship, though, which is crucial.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Tom of course crashed, very unlucky. We had a problem with this guy, I know you all know him. But yeah, he almost crashed me out and then he spun himself. And then after that, after the safety car, he was in front of us again. Cost us a lot of time for no reason because his teammate was nowhere near us. But he was lifting every corner. And then Tom tried to pass him and then he crashed Tom out, so that's very unlucky. We could have gotten a 1-2 if we played that well, because Tom was 1 and I was 3. But in the end, yeah, I still got P3, so yeah.
Yeah, P3, I think, out of a very tough race for Shazoo, let's just put it that way, because Tom obviously, as I say, spun, he had really good pace, of course, in qualifying, was on pole, of course, and again, his holes around Austria came back to bite him, quite literally back on the bum cheeks, I think, in terms of his spin very late on. But from a Shazoo perspective, that P3 finish, I think, is certainly defining, considering certainly what was happening ahead of you with the FER boys and Marlon going to all.
Yeah, P3 is still good points. But yeah, it could have been a P2 because I passed Marlon on the last lap. I don't know what Jerome was doing because he was defending the inside and there was no reason for that. So Marlon could pass me around the outside, unlucky for me. So that's how I got that P3, and we're and I'm pretty happy with that still.
Yeah, P3 definitely very happy with that indeed. Alex, any questions?
I've got one maybe on the strategy side, because we were asking ourselves a little bit while all the pit stop phases were going on. Maybe, of course, the earliest safety car, we thought maybe there was rain on the way. That was, of course, out of the way fairly soon. But then once the pit stops came rolling around, did you expect to be so far behind those effective leaders? And in fact, you still had, I believe, one of the TRS drivers and the McLaren to get through as well. Did you really expect to end up that far behind and have to even fight it out with your teammate at one point?
Yeah, we didn't expect it to be like that gap, because the gap to Marlon was like 3 seconds after I came out of the pits, and it's still after the cold tires, so it was like, yeah, we didn't expect that. And then Marlon got pretty easy through the traffic, and we didn't, of course, because, yeah, I said that in the first question. But yeah, in the end, I let Tom through. I think he had more battery, so he could pass, and then yeah, he got crashed out, so that's unlucky.
Yeah, I suppose that's how races go sometimes, but I think you still got the maximum out of it there with AP3 finish, so yeah. Very good of you to still end up on the podium. Congratulations, of course, to both of you, and yeah, it was a great race to watch overall, so I hope we also put on a show for you to watch later on.
Yeah, I'm going to watch.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm glad to hear that, because most of the comments I think that are going to be after that is probably the TRS boys being absolutely furious at my commentary. But there we are. That go and enjoy your evening, though, Rick.
What are you saying?
I'm saying go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a good time, mate.
Yeah.
Bye. You are very welcome indeed, and that rounds us off very neatly indeed for tonight in EML Premier 1. I really hope you enjoyed it, of course. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Don't dislike TRS boys, because I'll be coming for you in your sleep. Someone's just scored! Go on, it's 3-2! It's 3-2! It's 3-2, and it's Jewison Bennett! It's Dewey Bennett! Go on, son. It's 3-2 anyways. Right, it's a thrilling final 4 minutes of the match.
Is that not a perfect note to send us off here for the end of this stream? What a brilliant race this was.
I think it is.
James will do after F1 football commentator.
Oh, if I'm honestly a football commentator, then pay me to go match of the day.
Let's go. I'll be the co.
Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Fulham defender, by the way, got absolutely washed by Jewison Bennett. Anyways, TML F1 happening tomorrow night at 8 PM UK time. Myself and Mike taking to the action, of course, in France, and that is, of course, the week before the break week. And then, of course, TML F2 also on Friday. I might be there. Potentially, I haven't heard anything back from WR. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing WR top tier console commentary, which should be quite interesting indeed for the second week in a row. I think Gareth is unavailable, so maybe going to be doing WR instead of TML F2. Regardless, though, Mike will be there. I'm sure we'll find somebody else alongside him in the commentary box as well. If I am not there, if I am there though, I'll be seeing you, of course, again on on Wednesday. God, it's Wednesday today. On Friday at 7 PM, 8 PM UK time. Goodness me. I'm too focused on the Sunderland match. The 15-year-old kid's just been absolutely tackled out of his skin there. But anyways, right, I'm going to finish off. I'm going to watch the Sunderland match on my own telly. It's probably about a minute behind anyways on the telly downstairs. But there we are. Thank you so much for watching. From myself and Alex, we will see you in 2 weeks' time for EML Premier 1. And that is, of course, around... Let me get the calendar up, hang on. Someone is going for grandstand finish here. Go on. Oh. It is France, 22nd of February, so we will see you there, of course, in 2 weeks' time. But from myself and Alex, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.